Special Fire Force companies are a group of people that specialize in putting infernals to rest. While these companies are subject to the Tokyo Empire and its current emperor, their affiliation to each of the factions that exist inside the state itself isn't primarily handled by the Tokyo Empire. Alright, let's start with the first captain to appear in the series. We're only going to discuss the ones shown in the anime so far. Spoilers up ahead, please be advised. Akataru Obi is the founder and the pillar of the 8th. He's an incredibly tall guy standing at 189 centimeters or 6 feet and 2 inches. He's the tallest among the Fire Force Company captains. Obi was once a firefighter and the first responders to any kind of fire-related incident. During one of these events, he met Hinawa. These two paired up to put an infernal to rest themselves after meeting a Fire Force soldier and knowing the way on how they treat infernals as if they were a game. Obi is a man of principle and probably the ideal Fire Force soldier. He's a person who's willing to risk his life in order for others to survive. If you've been following the anime so far, Obi is a guy who likes to work out a lot. He's an unpowered, or a person who does not possess any kind of pyrokinetic ability. And although he's an unpowered, he's incredibly strong in terms of raw strength. In his fight against Benimaru Shinman, who is dubbed the strongest fire soldier, he managed to take strong fire attacks and hits with only a few scratches. His strength is what makes him one of the best melee fighters in the series, even as an unpowered. During his fight against Dr. Giovanni, he managed to take more than enough hits without going down. These attacks are enough to send anyone not durable enough into a coma for a few days, even months. His brute strength can be seen when he ripped a train track from the ground and used it as a weapon. If we do the math, he stands at 189 centimeters, or 6 feet 2 inches, and he's holding a track that's almost 4 times his height. Japanese train tracks usually weigh around 60 kilometers, or 112 pounds per meter. The railroad track that he's holding is at least 7.2 meters, or almost 24 feet. So that's at least 432 kilograms, or 952 pounds. Insane strength, especially for someone who regularly carries 30 kilograms, or 66 pounds of equipment every time there's an infernal. Next up, we have Princess Hibana. Sitting on a man-made throne, Princess Hibana commands a large group of Special Fire Force workers, researchers, crewmen, and a team of elite guards. She is the Tsundir Dam GF that stands on top of a lot of men and tread on them fearlessly, literally. Hibana was first introduced in the series as sort of an antagonistic character with a lot of technology and manpower that the 8th lacks. She is backed and supplied with equipment made by Haijima. Hibana is a 3rd-generation pyrokinetic, and her powers involve temperature manipulation. She can increase the temperature of her target's body and the surrounding areas to make them faint via heat syncope, a type of condition where the blood pressure is lowered more than that of the body as it widens the blood vessels to generate heat. When this happens to the blood vessels by dilation, the oxygen supply to the brain is moving much slower, causing the person to experience dizziness, faint, and become immobilized. Red blood cells carry hemoglobin, a protein that carries oxygen to every part of the body, including the brain. If the brain receives less oxygen, a person might experience dizziness and eventually faint in the process. Another part of her ability is clematis, a fan that generates multiple fire flowers that she can send to her enemies as a barrage of explosive projectiles. Her final ability is sakura, a cherry blossom tree that releases a rain of leaves. When these leaves touch a person's skin, they leave a mark of burning sensation and can cut through skin, causing burns. As a fire soldier, Hibana is capable of fighting. Although she is a 3rd-generation pyrokinetic, she isn't really the one cut out for fighting stronger opponents. This is pretty obvious in her fight against Shinra, since he gave her a single punch that made her pass out. This punch and the whole hero thing made her hit on Shinra subtly. I guess that's what happens when you give her a wake-up call. She and Iris both attended the same monastery as part of their sister training. Next one is Captain Burns. The captain of the first company, Leonard Burns, appeared in the 7th episode walking down in their respective Special Fire Grand Cathedral 1. We also get a glimpse of his company lieutenants, which are Huoyan Lee, Reika Hoshima, and Karim Flam, all of which are 3rd generation soldiers. As a 3rd generation, he can take multiple fire attacks without taking damage. His right eye patch will burn, signifying the start of his abilities getting all fired up. Upon taking a hit from Arthur's Excalibur, he is shown to take no damage, not even getting his arm cut off. For reference, the sun's surface temperature is 5,505 degrees Celsius, or almost 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Plasma's temperature can reach up to 25,000 degrees Celsius, or 45,000 degrees Fahrenheit. There are only 2 materials that withstand up to 4,000 degrees Celsius of heat. He can also extinguish the plasma in Arthur's Excalibur, as well as Shinra's explosive kinetic attack, and release it as a form of kinetic force. When Burns manifests his powers, he gets covered in tremendous heat energy and can unleash a powerful shockwave that can even push Shinra away with its massive energy burst. Burns is still a mystery in the series, and we haven't really gotten so far into the story yet, but his past is related to Joker. Dr. Giovanni first appeared in the series in his Plague Doctor suit while talking to Hibana in the special meeting held by the Emperor. From this scene, we can determine that both Hibana and Dr. Giovanni are both reporting directly to the Haijima Industries. Dr. Giovanni is quite a mystery himself, but he's the 3rd company's captain. We know nothing of Dr. Giovanni's past up until the latter parts, where we can see Dr. Giovanni tried to recruit Vulcan into his own company. As a Fire Force soldier, Giovanni possesses abilities that far surpass human power. He's a mechanic and an inventor himself, as he utilizes mechanical parts of his body to terrorize opponents. He made Shinra's scouting hell by attacking him indirectly, using his fists, which he controlled, using his 2nd generation abilities. He also has an electric wire that can generate a power of 2 million volts of current. During his fight with Captain Obi, we get to see a bunch of modifications he has on his body, but they're exceptionally weak and very disposable compared to Vulcan's creations. Apparently, his modifications are enough to stand against Obi's raw strength. Next up is Captain Honda. Gustav Honda is the captain heading the 2nd company. Gustav wears what seems like the traditional military uniform from the old world before the Cataclysm. He's a man with a large body frame, a thick and heavy mustache, and a shiny head. He's bald. We never get to see this guy in action, but he's a loyal retainer of the Emperor, as it can be seen when he scolded Benimaru Shinman, the captain of the 7th, when he, Benimaru, uttered something disrespectful to the Emperor. Although we never get to see him much in the anime, his support as a captain in the series can be seen through his approval of sending Takaru, aka Juggernaut, into a joint expedition at their expense. We also get to see a glimpse of his 3rd generation ability burning on top of his head. Next up, we have Captain Hagu. Soichiro Hagu is a pretty old man who looks like he's in his 60s or 70s. He's the company captain of the 4th, and he's a very sleepy guy. He has 3 scars from his forehead extending up to the right side of his face, which looks like it was made by an unknown beast. After the events in the Great Fire of Asakusa, Captain Hagu seems to have changed completely, bearing a mark. This mark was the thing that he attained by seeing an Adola link, similar to Shinra's, 2 years ago. Although he doesn't seem like he possesses any kind of pyrokinetic abilities, his use of tools can be seen as he managed to subdue 3 people at once using it. He's a massive masochist for Adola Burst, which is kinda funny and creepy at the same time. Up next is Dr. Huang. Kyoko Huang is a surgeon and the company commander of the 6th Company. After receiving a fatal wound, Shinra was rushed into the aid of Captain Kyoko Huang, the best surgeon in all of the Special Fire Force. Upon extracting the katana from Shinra's body, she began her operation and was successful in making sure Shinra was back on his feet. Her third-generation ability includes Rod of Asclepius, a light blue snake made out of her flame that manifests from her arm. The snake looks a lot like the one you see in medical schools, but it is a direct reference to the Greek god Asclepius, the god of healing and medicine. The snake will enter the body and repair any kind of damage that it can. The body will then burn as part of the process of healing them. Finally, we have Captain Waka of the 7th. Benimaru Shinman is dubbed the strongest fire soldier in all of the Special Fire Force. He first appeared in the meeting held by the Emperor. As mentioned by Obi, it is rare for this captain, or anyone in the 7th, to appear on anything before the meeting even starts. Benimaru was accompanied by his friend, Konro Sagamiya. Benimaru is a special case of a pyrokinetic, as he both possesses second and third generation abilities. He's no doubt one of the best Fire Force soldiers that isn't relying on Adola bursts. He wears a traditional kimono, and the 7th are considered proto-nationalists, living in Asakusa with their own set of rules, far from the reach of the Empire's control. As a second generation and third generation hybrid, his fighting abilities are far greater than anyone in the entire Special Fire Force, except probably for Captain Burns. His fighting style is greatly attributed to his training, both in karate and iaido. His third generation ability allows him to create his own flames and control it with full efficiency, effectively creating explosive attacks after having his attacks deflected from the tiniest flame remains. He is also a master in hand-to-hand combat, able to fend off multiple members of the 8th coming at him in full force. He can also stop projectiles fired by a second generation and control them while fending off attackers, as well as countering with his own flames, and using the same bullets he was holding off to start their own momentum again as part of his attack. During his fight with the 8th, we get to see his ability, Le Chop Form 1 Fire Moon, a fire slash so fast that it was invisible until it hit a target. When he gets serious, he unleashes his signature final move, Lei Form 7 Sun Wheel, an attack that looks like the outer surface of the sun. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully, we get to see more of these captains in the next season. As of now, Fire Force Season 2 is airing, and it's about time we learn more about Adola bursts and the mystery of human combustion. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Tell us who's your favorite captain so far, and let us know what Fire Force content you want us to cover next. And speaking of Adola bursts, we're gonna cover those as well. Don't forget to share this video with your friends. See you in the next video.